First of all, what do you make about the latest questions and the latest thoughts from the President of the United States? When there's threats of possible military action, should Denmark take him seriously?
Of course, we have to take it seriously when it's the President of the U.S. that speaks. But that said, I also think some common sense must be applied. We've been a partner with the U.S. For more than 80 years. We have helped them in Afghanistan and in Iraq. And actually, I think the Danish military lost most soldiers per population of any in those wars, helping the U.S. The U.S. is a partner. It's an ally, and you don't go blue on blue. One NATO country doesn't go and require territory of another NATO country. It's unheard of, and it's disrespectful.
I mean, your government has requested a meeting with Marco Rubio. What do you hope to achieve?
As our foreign minister has said and also told us yesterday, the foreign minister of Greenland and the Danish foreign minister have requested a meeting with Rubio, and there we will get facts right. Some higher-ranking U.S. personnel has said that there's 30,000 people on Greenland. There's 57,000. U.S. has had 17 bases in Greenland, and not many years ago we spoke to the administration and I think actually the president as well, and asked what do you need? Do you need more? Do we need to keep the infrastructure going? What is needed for the U.S.? And there was no demand for extra bases at that time. So sort of to clear out some of the misunderstandings, also that Greenland is surrounded by Chinese and Russian ships, etc., etc. And the opportunities that are there for the U.S. In terms of bases and rare earth or rare minerals.
There was an emergency meeting in the Foreign Policy Committee yesterday. What was the outcome of that meeting?
It is totally secret what is discussed in that meeting, and sometimes the agenda is not even public. But the agenda that was public, or part of the agenda yesterday, was the discussions about the relationship to the U.S. And the outcome of that, or at least what is official from that meeting, is that our foreign minister, the Danish foreign minister, and the Greenlandic foreign minister will go or have requested a meeting with Rubio in Washington, D.C.
Sir, are people nervous in the government? Is it nervousness? Are you emboldened? Like, what's the kind of mood music? Do you think there's any possibility of a deal on anything being struck with the U.S.?
Well, people are nervous. We haven't experienced this before, and certainly not from an ally. So, of course, there's uncertainty, nervousness, to some extent anger. But will there be found a resolution? I hope so. And it will start with a meeting with the two foreign ministers and Rubio in Washington, D.C.
What do you think NATO should do or say now? It's been a little bit silent so far.
Yeah, we've had lots of support from leaders of states and like Nordic Council that I'm chairman of for the Danish part has also come out with statements basically saying this is not on. But we haven't heard much, as you say, from NATO. Marco Rubio could come out with a statement basically saying how it works and how it certainly doesn't work in NATO in terms of acquiring, in inverted brackets, land from each other.
Do you think that would focus the minds, or is there a danger that it escalates?
I think dialogue always helps. I think Churchill said, speak jaw to jaw, it's better than war, or something to that extent. Dialogue is always the way forward to de-escalate situations and to clear uncertainties and misunderstandings.
Mr. Brask, I've had a number of viewers trying to comment and email saying, like, why is there not a referendum in Greenland about who they want to belong to? And what do you say to that?
Well, at the end of the day, Greenland decides on the future of Greenland. So Greenland can decide that they want to be part of the US, or they want to continue to be part of Kingdom of Denmark. And I think in that is also the problem, because when Greenland very clearly announced that they wanted to be totally independent at one point. Then somebody woke up in Washington, D.C. and said, wow, that's a big threat to our geopolitical situation. This big landmass run by, populated by 57,000 people, we have to look into that. So I think the key thing for Greenland to do is to decide, we want to stay within Kingdom of Denmark. We might modernize how we work together, or an alternative route, and then we'll look at that when that potentially can be on the table.
Mr. Brask, I know there's so much uncertainty out there at the moment, but in terms of timeline, how do you expect events to go? How quickly do you think, we would get something from either a statement from NATO and then that meeting with Marco Rubio and things quieten down? Or how critical are the next 2 weeks?
Oh, the next 2 weeks, they're critical. But let's get the meeting with the three foreign ministers together, clear up the misunderstandings, try to understand what it is everybody wants to achieve. And then I'm sure we are more informed and there's less misinformation after that meeting.